you through. This is ABC News, obviously, in the US. It says, as India votes, misinformation surges on social media. The whole country is paying the price. And this is an AP sort of story that they have picked up. It says, Bollywood stars, it starts off, seldom weigh in on politics. So videos showing two celebrities criticizing Prime Minister Modi and endorsing his opposition have gone viral. So they're talking about, this is the earlier story, about Amir Khan and Ranveer Singh with those AI generated videos and the impact that AI is having on the Indian election. This is a story in the Washington Post. It says India votes in the third phase. I'm just going to shut this down. So, India votes in the third phase of the national elections. Modi escalates his rhetoric against Muslims. Millions of Indians across 93 constituencies are voting as Prime Minister Narendra Modi has mounted an increasingly shrill election campaign, ramping up polarization of rhetoric against Muslims. So, the Washington Post has always been particularly critical of the Modi government over its decade in power. So that tends to continue here. It says, that he's called them infiltrators, that they have too many children, referring to Hindu nationalist trope of Muslims producing too many children. And then he talks about how they will loot the country. So that's, the story for today from the Washington Post. There's another story from the Post. This one is from yesterday. It says improper shadow ads thriving on Facebook during India's election. So obviously there's a big focus on misinformation and social media and what that's doing to elections, because the US is also going into elections later this year. So China's impact on elections, if there's any sort of interference and what's really going on, is something that they're focusing on. So we're seeing a lot of articles in the global media about how, say, Facebook and Twitter and all of these guys and the ads and the misinformation, AI being used and stuff like that. Many political ads, it says, running on Facebook in India during its current election season are backed by organizations that hide their identity. According to social media groups in recent studies, threatening the integrity of the process for emotional appeals. So, that's the story that they've published yesterday about improper shadow ads coming in from organizations that have sort of kept their, identity hidden. Also, remember, what's happening in social media now, what this article is referring to, is that obviously there are the main ads that the main political party is putting out, but these are other organizations, People for India, they're like vague. They're not sort of clearly associating themselves with one party or the other, but they're putting out ads that serve one party, and they're not sort of making their this thing clear. So look at this. Making matters worse, according to one study published on Monday, there's a thriving black market in accounts approved to run political ads. Multiple sellers in public Facebook groups, tens and thousands of members, have been offering such accounts for sale to run Indian ads as well as political ads in the United States and other countries. Of course, Brazil and other countries as well. Spokesman from Facebook said that Meta prohibits ad account owners from selling access to their accounts, and we will work to remove any ads and take action against those who are doing it. Okay. Let's take a look at other stories. This one is the New York Times. The New York Times put out a story saying time is running out for Rahul Gandhi's vision of India. This was a story that was put out on the 20th of April. So it's a few days, about 15 days old. Fundamentally, it was said that Indian National Congress, Rahul Gandhi, basically is not able to basically bring in that idea that he's sort of selling through the Bharat Jodo Yatra. He said that Gandhi would cover 15 states and travel across the country. For a decade, the Congress Party has been so deep in political wilderness, occupying fewer than 10 seats in Parliament, that even its well-wishers wonder if Gandhi is merely a custodian of its end. This is, let me see. It says how political dynasties are threatening the world's largest democracy. In India, the succession of elected officials allows families to run, and that is basically, it's basically arguing for the Prime Minister's concept of Parivarvad, and I'm reading this out of the Russian newspapers there. We also have, Reuters that says, that has similar articles about what's happening, the sort of rhetoric against Muslims, but it's not opening because of my ad blocker. And if anybody has a solution on how we can fix that, please let us know. All right, we're going to go now to Indian, what's happening with Indian news. But let me just see who else is in our live chat right now so we can say hi before we go further. Mohammed Murtaz says hello from Bangalore. How's the rain? Has it cooled off in Bangalore? And hopefully, and this I find really interesting in Bangalore, that basically we've sort of dried up all the lakes and built on top of everything. And so as a result, what's happening right now is that when it rains, the water is all over the streets. Just logged in from Canada, says Ishan Shah. Love your reporting. Thanks, Ishan. Shaila Rajan says hi. Mohan says Shudra Yadav visits Sanatan Hindu temple. Why do these Western? Okay. Shell D says, welcoming everyone to the stream. Please hit the like button. Yes, guys, please hit the like button. Kalyan Reddy, your views on Rahul Gandhi. Honestly, Kalyan, I don't have that much of a view on Rahul Gandhi, but I was actually interested to see whether Priyanka Gandhi would contest, because I think that she's turning out to be a formidable politician, and perhaps more formidable than her brother, at least from what we've seen so far. And I was thinking that, if she actually decided to contest Amethi against Smriti Irani, a Priyanka versus Smriti contest would have really been something to watch. But that's just me getting excited as a spectator, right? Because it's like watching IPL. You want to see the biggest two teams go up against each other always. But that was not to be. She's decided not to contest. Sheep says, hello, Suraj. Click on continue without supporting and continue reading on pop-up. Okay. Bhaskar Goswami, thanks for this. We voted in Assam today. Yes, Assam, Karnataka, Maharashtra, everyone who voted today, thank you for going out and doing your bit. In fact, we'll take a look at the numbers. Unfortunately, the turnout numbers are not great, guys. Nupur Gupta, always a pleasure to hear your streams. Thanks for tuning in, Nupur. Kalyan Reddy, question papers prepared by Apakas Logas field. Your comments on Rahul Gandhi. I know there was that story that he has told that's sort of doing the rounds a little bit. Hello, Nara Paraju. Did I say that correctly? Suraj, views on current candidates withdrawing last minute in North India. So it's very interesting. There was an article in PTI today that was carried by most newspapers that at least 3 candidates in the Gandhinagar constituency, where the BJP is fielding Amit Shah, have pulled out, saying that they came under pressure from local BJP leaders. And I find that really interesting. The fact that the EC is not doing anything about it. Consensus on the low turnout harms the BJP. So actually, you know what? Ranjit Nair. Okay. So basically, there are 2 ways to look at it, right? So if you argue that the low consensus is going to hurt the BJP, then you can also argue that the low turnout will also hurt the opposition. Because it means that BJP supporters are saying, hey, you know what? The Prime Minister doesn't really need my vote. He's going to be fine without it. It's all right. I'm not going to go. But it also means that opposition guys, supporters are saying, hey, they're going to lose anyway. So it's okay if I don't go. So we don't really know. It's conjecture to assume that the low turnout will hurt the BJP, not the opposition at this point. We don't know that for sure. Have I seen Dhruv Rathi's videos? I have seen Dhruv Rathi's videos. Harsh Patel, why are you covering Westminster News? Bootlickers of globalists to pursue their agenda in every article. Wow! What good language. I am just covering everybody's news, dude. We're just seeing what's happening in the headlines. We're not like, I don't know what to say to you. If you say, I mean, this is such a weird trope, right? Don't cover Western coverage, but at the same time, we're very interested in India's sort of image on the global stage. We want India to be a global leader. We want India to lead the world, but you don't care about what's being written about India and the rest of the world, whether you like it or not. You should still, read it. Read everything. Nishant, will India change its union government for the better? I mean, I don't know. There are 4 questions in that sentence. I live in Europe, wanted to register as a non-resident voter. The website doesn't meet the privacy rules of the EU. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Abhishek Gupta says, hello. Another angle I've heard, BJP's core base is unhappy. There was an article on... in Komi Kapoor wrote an article over the weekend. It was very interesting. She talked about the same thing. She said basically the core base is unhappy because of all of these guys who sort of parachuted from the opposition. So people from the Congress party who the base says we can't campaign for these guys because till yesterday we were calling them corrupt and now we have to campaign for them. It also means that every time you've given a ticket to someone who's crossed from the opposition, you're you're basically omitting a ticket to someone in your own party, and people are quite unhappy about that. I don't think it's opposition followers who are not voting. Opposition followers are scared this country is being turned into a dictatorship. Priyanka says, why you hate? Okay, I'm not really sure what that means, but okay, welcome to the conversation. All right, let's get to now talking about what's happening in India, Indian news. Okay, um, Supreme Court, these two judges, right, Hima Kohli and Amanullah, have been coming down hard on this whole Patanjali putting out fake ads, right? Now, in that, this side story of the government of India sending a letter to state governments asking state governments not to take action against Ayurvedic companies for violating a particular rule. Now, this is Rule 170 of the drugs and cosmetics laws. This is for advertisements. Now, according to that 170, it basically says Ayurvedic, Siddha, and Unani drugs cannot put out an advertisement unless it has been approved. That advertisement has been approved by the licensing authority. So what happened was the central government wrote a letter in August 29th, 2023. The Ministry of Ayush sent a letter to all state governments saying that we're going to take off this Rule 170 anyway, so please don't take any action against those Ayurvedic companies that are putting out ads without meeting these requirements. Now, this came up before the court in these arguments against Patanjali, and the court was really unhappy. So today the central government has informed the Supreme Court that it will withdraw that letter sent by the Ministry of Ayush to the state authorities asking them not to take action. And this comes after the two judges expressed grave unhappiness with the ministry's stand that the letter was issued this way at all. So I'm just going to see, it says here, and I'm reading out of Live Law, it quotes the Supreme Court saying, why would you jump the gun? How can the government say that only on recommendation will I direct that without taking any decision? Why would you say not to implement the law? So I thought that was a really interesting point of view on the entire Patanjali matter, and I wanted to bring that to your notice. So that case continues, by the way. Again, you can see all of those updates on Live Law. And this is the other part of that same hearing. Today, this happened today, the Supreme Court, while hearing the contempt case against Patanjali, pointed out that even though licenses of some of its products were suspended, its misleading advertisements are still available on the internet, on websites, and on various channels. What are you doing to write to those particular agencies to bring those ads down? Said to bring those ads down, the judge asked Patanjali. So the court is not letting this company off the hook, which is really cool to see, if you ask me. Justin Thomas says, I don't think the opposition. Okay, this one we already read. AFCO says UPSP Congress is coming with more seats. No, Julika says feel like Patanjali a lot. I'm just fascinated with this case, right? I'm fascinated with the chutzpah of this company, the gumption this company has to do all of the things that it has done, and the fact that it's finally come home to roost now. Hi, Joel Arhana, thank you for tuning in. Ossie Fernandez says, BJP Bagao. Okay, don't make me repeat these things. Yeah, it's not cool. LNG operator. Anyone in the comment sections seems to know everything. Everyone in the comment section seems to know everything. Justin, okay, so we're going to read some more stories. Lots of things happening in the Supreme Court today. Let me take you back to the Supreme Court, right? Let me see. So Arvind Kejriwal's interim bail hearing came up in the Supreme Court today. And basically, what had happened was Justices Sanjeev Khanna and Deepakar Datta were hearing this case. And Solicitor General Tushar Mehta basically said that why should he get interim bail? How is he different from everybody else who is languishing in jail? Like, isko special treatment kyun milni chahiye? To which basically the court said there are one or two, and I'm reading from here. Yeah. The court said he's the elected Chief Minister of Delhi. Elections are around the corner. These are extraordinary situations. He's not otherwise a habitual offender or someone who's been involved in many other cases. The elections are held once in 5 years. So basically, the court had made an oral observation that if we allow this sort of bail for Kejriwal. He'll only be able to go and campaign, but he's not going to be able to do any work as the Chief Minister of Delhi. He's only going to be able to campaign for Delhi, is what they said. Then the court adjourned for lunch. Then the court came back from lunch and adjourned the case for either day after tomorrow or next week. Now, if we look at today, is the 7th of May, and if we keep adjourning this case, and having said that, you only want to allow him to campaign and nothing else, and you're maybe releasing him on special circumstances because of the elections. Delhi votes on the 25th of May, which is about 10 days, less than 10 days away. So, depending on when this case is actually heard, then it gives you some time to consider how long Arvind Kejriwal will be allowed to campaign at all. So that was an interesting sort of case that happened today. Let's take a look at the front page of the Times of India. Sonia Gandhi put out a video. So there's this happening. This is very interesting. So this is brewing right now, guys. I'm just opening it in front of you. This is a story updated at 7:35. So as of now, it's less than 10 minutes old. There's a setback to the ruling BJP in Haryana during the Lok Sabha election. 3 independent MLAs on Tuesday announced that they have withdrawn their support from the government of the state. Reacting to that development, Saini, who is the chief minister, said, "I've received this information. Maybe Congress is engaging in fulfilling some people's wishes." So that's happening right now. So these are 3 independent MLAs have decided to extend their support to the Congress during the elections, and they made an announcement as a press conference in the presence of the former Haryana Chief Minister Bhupender Singh Hooda. Withdrawing support, we want to extend our support to the Congress. So this is a developing story, and we're going to know more about it. So these are the 3 independents who've withdrawn their support for the BJP government and extended it to the Congress party. Let me see what else is happening here. So in Karnataka, another 25,000 pen drives have been distributed, and Kumaraswamy sees a plot in the allegations against Kejriwal Revana. So in a press conference, former Karnataka Chief Minister Kumaraswamy made serious allegations against his nephew, Kejriwal Revana, and accused Chief Minister Siddaramaiah of a conspiracy. He claimed that 25,000 pen drives containing those videos were distributed before the polls, and he questioned the credibility of the special investigative team formed by the Congress government, calling it the Siddaramaiah investigative team or the Shivakumar investigative team instead of the special investigative team. Just to show you that all politicians fundamentally are the same, this is a story that's come out today. Aam Aadmi Party MLA's son thrashes petrol pump employee. Case has now been registered. So, they just called Aam Aadmi Party, really. Aam Aadmi Party, Akbar Khan's son has been accused of physically assaulting the staff member of a petrol pump. Authorities have taken cognizance of the incident. That's all we have so far. More details awaited. This is an interesting story. So Paytm, remember, at one point had a market cap of 20 billion. It is now 2.5 billion as of Tuesday, and the shares continue to fall. The company was trading at about 5% lower on the Bombay Stock Exchange at the market close. So, from the time it's run into trouble, you'll remember, with the RBI, it's sort of not recovered its stock prices. I'm just going to take a look at what we have in the comment section. Neil Dubey says judges wanted to take their afternoon nap. Well, technically they came back after lunch. Sanjay says there are many criminals out on bail. Why is Arvind Kejriwal considered worse than repeat offenders? Want honest news? Go check out the Beetroot News app, says Shaldi. Thank you. And Siddharth Acharya says a son of Mother Ganga has arrived. I'm not sure who you are referring to, but okay. Guys, remember to like our stream, subscribe to our channel. Remember, we're at 299,000 subscribers. It would be nice to get that up to 300,000 subscribers. Let's take a look at other stories right now. More from Karnataka. Um, and okay, this is another column. This is by Yogendra Yadav and Shreyas Desai. Remember, Yogendra Yadav used to be a saphologist before he became, a farmer activist. So he is talking about how he believes, and this is again a column, that in the first two phases of voting, that the NDA might have lost 20 out of the 111 seats that they had won last time in the same spaces, and in the third phase they would have lost another 20 out of those seats as well, which means that according to Yogendra Yadav, the BJP is looking weaker. Again, I'm pointing out, and this is in the print, this is a opinion column. But I mean, consider the fact that before we went into the election, every single voice was giving this election 100% to the Prime Minister and the BJP with a thumping majority. That opinion is slightly starting to change. Putin being sworn in as the Russian president for a fifth term. Remember, I did a video on this about how basically Putin has rigged the entire system to make sure that he can always win. That's a long video, you should take a look at it. And there he is, he's won himself another term. And he's 71 years old and he has been in power since Bill Clinton was in the White House. And he remains so. This is an interesting story to bring you. Now, just pointing out, the Election Commission has asked Twitter or X to take down the objectionable post by Karnataka BJP. A lot of people have already seen it. I'm not going to play it out because I don't think it's cool to actually play that out. But basically, what it shows is that there's a bird's nest and an animation of Rahul Gandhi and Siddaramaiah, who favor Muslims over the SC, ST, and OBCs. It was inflammatory, it was not okay, and the EC has taken a really long time to take any action against it. The Karnataka police sent Twitter a notice on the 5th of this month, and Twitter did nothing about it. Then EC has put out a notice. Now, remember, EC's notice is coming out today after Karnataka has finished voting. So, really, it brings to question what the Election Commission is really doing and why it is taking so long to react to anything. This I want to show you is a column written in the print with their short column, but basically they've said BJP campaign advertisements showing Congress pandering to Muslims and hinting at the celebration in Pakistan is downright inflammatory, and the EC has taken 2 days to ban these ads. Meanwhile, the advertisements have already had a free run. The slowness makes it even more suspect. So now people are calling out the EC for actually being too slow to take reactions to anything. This is a story in the Indian Express. Um, it talks about how 700 fishermen in Gujarat first had their homes demolished, late last year. No, in March, sorry, had their homes demolished in March. And they found that the Election Commission has deleted their names from the latest electoral polls. And that is really, you know, it's deeply worrying, really, if there are people who are not being allowed to vote because that is their fundamental right to be allowed to vote. Will you cover Nikhil Gupta's story? Okay, we can cover the Nikhil Gupta story. I'll bring that one as well. Another online Godi media. Okay. Julia Blake, good evening. Siddharth Acharya. BJP is already finding it difficult to go past 272. I don't know. Let's wait. We understand from Orissa and West Bengal that they will get higher numbers. They're looking very strong in Gujarat, in Rajasthan, in Uttar Pradesh, Haryana. 3 guys have left them, but so there are many places in which the BJP is still looking very, very strong. I think it'll be too early to call anything at this point. Deko says, explain under Yogi government why beef export is so high in UP, why the ban in India. I'm confused. Politics. So popular politics. That's really the explanation for that. Let me see what else we have for you. That's all the news I have for you. Really, let's just collectively take a look at the front page of the Indian Express. Wow, this has just been uploaded. 400 par gets a fresh twist. The Prime Minister said 400 par is needed to stop the Congress for putting Babri lock on Ram Mandir. So this was something that Smriti Irani has also recently said in a meeting in the last 24 hours or so, where basically they've said that, listen, the Prime Minister has built this temple, has built the Ram Mandir, and if you vote for the Congress and they come into power, they will shut it down, they will lock it, they will basically, it will go away. Put the Babri lock on Ayodhya and bring back Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. I must point out that nowhere, and I remember reading this, nowhere in the Congress manifesto have they said that they will bring back Article 370. So really pushing the idea on this, don't vote for Congress, these bad things will happen to you, as opposed to vote for us, we will continue development. So that is a big change that, that's happened in the BJP campaign. So that's really the news as we see it right now. We're going to put out another video tonight talking about what the powers of the Election Commission are and what they should have been doing or what they can do so far. That's going to go out in a little while. Proud to be Jharkhandi, says Alan. So a couple of requests before we go. We have a membership. Please sign on for our membership. It helps us financially. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, like this stream so more people can watch it. Thank you so much for joining us on this live. We're here every day. And we're also going to put out another video on the Election Commission that's coming up again very shortly. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.